do you want to stay here and then come together when Casey's done?
Annual Clare County Historical Society's Veterans Museum display. The display is honoring all whom have served our country and their country. The Historical Society Museum is open on Saturdays from 1 until 5 p.m. now through October, displaying our two new exhibits. The first being a military display of World War I, World War II uniforms, and a farming tools display. And today we have a special dedication of the military display, being represented by the Clare and Farwell DFW Post. I would like to read and thank the Clare County Historical Society's board, President George Dunham, Vice President Joe Bradley, Secretary T.M. Sellers, Treasurer John Ringelberg, Director Lee Wixom, Director Will Culver, Director Carolyn Welch, Director Ruth Cleveland Owens, and Director Nelda Murphy. Today we are dedicating the uniforms and the display of those who gave unselfishly to their country. And the names are following of the uniforms that we have on display. World War I Army Ed Johnston of Clare. World War I Army James Clute, Clare. World War I Army J. Bellinger, Clare. World War I Army Al Perry, Clare. World War I Army Walter H. Larman. World War II Army Air Force Melbourne W. Bradley. U.S. Navy World War II Francis C. Loomis. U.S. Navy Korean David W. Wade. World War II Army Dr. Kuno Hammerberg, Clare. World War II and Korean Marines Al Fox. World War II Royal Air Force Greenwood Chew, Clare. And World War II Army Betty J. Oldfield, Clare. Our World War II veterans, as young men and women, they endured the Depression that lasted from 1929 through the late 1930s. In the 1930s, President Roosevelt offered these young men and women a chance to work at CC camps, providing payment to the young men and women's families. They were stationed in areas all around Michigan to put out forest fires, replanting areas of trees, and erected fish dams. World War I veterans ran the camps in a military fashion, and in that way, they helped model these young men and women to prepare for their service in the Army, Army Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Today we also have on display in the museum photos and different paraphernalia of Charles Willits. And Charles was employed by the Ford Motor Company, where he assisted in the readying of Willow Run to produce the B-24 bombers. He then actively served in the Army from March of 1943 through April of 1946. We also have a display of photos and paraphernalia of Catherine Willits. From 1942 until 1945, she performed as Rosie the Riveter in the Briggs plant, riveting the B-17 engine cells. Today we are dedicating and honoring these veterans. But I would also like to take a moment to ask everyone to bow their heads in silence to reflect, to thank, and to remember all veterans who have served our country in the past and current. If you'll bow your heads with me for a moment, please. today, in a small way, we say thank you to each of you. Joe and I have talked over the past few weeks, and it is our intention, the Historical Society's intention, to provide a second annual and a third annual memorial dedication. And out of our conversation, Joe has talked about erecting a memorial monument honoring the veterans here at the Historical Society. Our goal is to do that next year, and unbeknownst to Joe, we discussed it, and the talks were to raise some money to provide that. And on behalf of my employees and my business, I would like to offer the dedication at no cost other than man hours to erect that monument for the Historical Society next year.
Okay.
Before I invite the VFW posts from Clare and Farwell to perform the military honors, I would also like to offer to anyone interested, we have Dr. Hammerberg's books for sale, which are $10 a piece, and a complete 100% of the proceeds go back to the Historical Society. And there are also refreshments that everyone is prepared for you to stay and visit and share. And at this moment, I would like to ask the VFW posts from Clare and Farwell to step forward and present us with military honors. This concludes our military dedication. Again, I ask you to visit with one another. I ask you to tour the schoolhouse, the veterans display, and we have refreshments and food. Please share with one another, share your memories, share some history. Enjoy the day.
Uniforms at the Clare County